How to smoke a brisket on an offset smoker right here on Brisket Medic. Briskets are iconic when it comes to barbecue. And if you want to learn how to do it on a stick burner, stick around. We're going to jump in here. We're going to show you this brisket and how to get it cooked. We're going to be using our Old Country Pecos. It's heavily modified, but the tips and tricks that I'm going to give you can be used across the board on any smoker that you own. If you want to see how we modified our Old Country Pecos, check out our playlist down below. To get started, I grabbed a USDA choice brisket from my local HEB, and I made sure to grab one that had a nice thick point on it and some decent marbling. They were on sale for $1.77 a pound, so I really couldn't complain about this one. We're going to do a light trim on this one, guys. Nothing fancy, but we are going to hit a couple of areas that really matter, and that's the 3 S's. We're going to go saturation, silver skin, and shape. We want to make sure we get all that hard fat off. We want to make sure we get the silver skin off of the the flat side. And also we want to make sure that it's shaped in such a way, because we are using an offset smoker designed for high airflow, that we're not crisping up and overcooking those edges. So we want to cut all those light, thin sides off of it. Remember, guys, you'd rather have good burgers to grind up than crunchy, crispy edges that you can't eat in the end. From there, we're going to season up our brisket, and I'm going to be using just a simple seasoned salt, heavy pepper, and then top it off with a little Uncle Steve's. I am going to use a mustard binder, because I believe that as a beginner cooking brisket, mustard is going to help you do a couple of things and have a very even coat of rub on your brisket is number 1. But number 2, the antioxidants in the mustard really help that fat render down and give you great taste. A little bit of sweet, a little bit of saltiness. Not going to taste like mustard, folks, but you're going to enjoy the outcome. Once we get it nice and seasoned up, we're going to go ahead and start our fire. I love to use some lump charcoal to start it off to get a good bed of coals down, and then throw on some oak logs on top of that. I have a great video on fire management that you can check out, link down below, and also a card up top. Once your smoker's up to temp, we're aiming at 275 degrees. We're going to go ahead and place our brisket onto the pit, point facing the fire, right in the middle of our grate, and that's going to allow even airflow and smoke around the whole thing throughout the cook. Now, once we shut this down, we're not going to open it up for about 3 hours. We're just going to be managing the fire. I know that seemed fast to y'all, but it's been 3 hours. Let's go ahead and take a look at this brisket. Now, it's looking really well. The bark is definitely set, and it's getting a little bit dry in some areas, so we're going to hit this with a little bit of a mist with our spritzer, because we're Team Spritz here. We understand that when spritzing your brisket, you not only enhance the flavor by allowing the fat to render evenly on the outside of the brisket, but you're increasing that relative humidity in the smoker and allowing your meat to keep more moisture. When you spritz it down, make sure you don't wash all your rub off. Spritz it just enough to get some nice moisture on the outside. Smoke binds to moisture. Keep that brisket nice and moist, folks. We're going to check on this brisket every hour on the hour throughout the remainder of this cook, and I'll bring you back when we're ready to wrap. This was a fairly large brisket, folks, and it took almost 7 hours to get our bark where I liked it, and the internal temperature was about 160. Now that's not really important. The important part is the bark was where I liked it. It was a nice dark color. It was nice and set in. It was firm and not crispy. It's time to wrap it. How I like to wrap it is get 2 pieces of paper, roughly 4 feet long, 3.5 to 4 feet long, and overlap them about 6 to 8 inches. Spray them down with a little bit of water. That helps 2 things. I'm out here in the wind, and it keeps that paper from blowing around, helps it stick together. But in number 2, it allows that paper to fold and be tucked in nice and tight, because we don't want it to steam inside that paper. We just want it to keep cooking and get over that hump. Once we get it wrapped up, throw it back in there, bat side up again, point towards the fire. And we're going to cook this and check on it every hour until it's probe tender, probably right around 205 degrees. After about 12.5 hours overall, this thing is hit 205 degrees on the dot. I'm hitting it. It's probe tender both in the point and in the flat. It's time to get this thing set aside and let it rest. Now you can let this rest for an hour or 2 on your counter before you serve it at home, or do like I did. We had it for lunch today and I cooked it yesterday. I went ahead and stuck it in my electric smoker that I only use as a warmer. I can put 4 briskets in there and hold them overnight at 155 degrees. That allows that collagen to continue to break down without overcooking your brisket. And then we slice it up and enjoy it. Our family enjoyed this. This was our Sunday evening lunch, and it was a bang. Your family's gonna love it too. Tips and tricks from Brisket Medic, how to cook a brisket on an offset smoker. Make sure you hit that like. You subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that bell so you don't miss any updates from us. Comment down below what your favorite seasoning for a brisket is.